full-on recipes. Alright, so I'm adding my Dead Sea salt in here, and what we're doing right now is doing a reconstitution of seawater. So we're just turning this back into salty water. So I filled my jar there in the bottom with the salt. And I'm going to add some spring water. Local spring water is preferred in glass. And I'm just adding enough right now to dissolve the salt. Yeah, so this part's just a little tedious. And that nice granulated salt there dissolved really fast. I was ordering Dead Sea salt straight from Jerusalem, and it would come in larger chunks, and it would take forever to dissolve in the water. So we have our salt water there, and I'm just going to take a few of these coffee filters to strain out any dirt or anything like that that's in the salt. A lot of people would think that the pink salt would have a lot of Ormus in it, but it really doesn't. Like the pink Himalayan stuff doesn't have a high Ormus content. Would you mind holding this up for a second? So go ahead and pour our salt water solution through the coffee filter. You can smell the saline.
And that was like 2 coffee filters? Or?
Yeah, I just put 2 in there. It's not so necessary. You just want to make sure that there's not any large particulates in there. You just want it to be as clear as it can be. See, some of it's not even going through, but I just want the large particulates to fall and settle in the bottom of the coffee filter. Hey Seppi.
Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing a smaller jar?
Yeah, like
or
a quart?
Yeah, yeah. That'll be fine. You can pause it for a second. Thank you. The only dangerous part about making Ormus is working with lye. So those of you that don't know, try and get food grade lye if you can, or make sure that it just says it's lye and there's no additional chemicals or anything like that. But lye is very, very alkaline. Thank you.
Good. All right. Excellent.
Lye is very alkaline. It's good to have vinegar around just in case and wear gloves. I'm very comfortable with my dexterity, and I've done this enough times that I feel comfortable with myself. But wear gloves, wear a mask. Lye will off-gas when you put it in water. It will get hot. So there's a few things to be careful with. So the thing about things that are very alkaline, when they touch your skin, it'll burn. So if you have some vinegar that's acidic, you can pour that on there and it'll bring down the pH and it'll stop the burning. So just make sure you have that available to you. So what I'm doing is I'm taking 2 tablespoons of this lye powder. You get lye crystals, lye powder, and make sure it's food grade if you want to eat it. If you're going to use it for plants, it's not as necessary. You can get the kind that people use for making soap in bulk. So the dry lye powder won't do anything so much if it gets on you, but if water gets on it, that's when it'll start to mess you up. So we're putting 2 tablespoons in this quart jar, and you really should add it to the water, but no big deal. It's just gonna fizzle up, and it'll stick together, and that's the only reason why I say add it to the water. It's because you'll notice right now whenever I do this, it'll stick together. And because we're doing this outside, it's better if you do it inside your house. Wear a mask or back up or put a fan or some sort of ventilation on because it'll off-gas. Oh, so that didn't even stick together. That was really nice. So it's going to get real warm. And I'm just going to go ahead and stir that until it dissolves completely. So this solution right here, this lye water, is very high in pH. We're going to use this lye water to raise the pH of our salt water solution.
So you don't have to worry about using metal or wood or anything like that to stir stuff? Like, is there anything that will react with it?
I mean, I totally don't I recommend using metals as little as least as possible. I'm just working with what I have at this point. But when you start to have Ormus precipitate, I don't recommend putting metals on it. We're gonna need to wrap this up with aluminum foil then to protect it from EMF radiation and stuff like that. You saw that this one was in a static bag.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna need to protect the outside. So we have our salt water that's gone through the filter here, and we're gonna put it back into our jar. This is the vessel that we're going to do the extraction in. So I'm going to add the rest of my water in here. And this will be ideal to have a turkey baster of some sort. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon the water in. So I'm going to just turn this on its side here. This is a little bit warm. You can wait for it to cool down if you're patient. And we're just going to drip a little bit of this in here. So if everybody wants to come up and see, the Ormus is going to start coming right out of the water. So we're going to start checking the pH. I'm going to put in a little bit more, maybe another little scoop of this this high alkaline water. And we'll just watch the Ormus precipitate. This is the precipitation phase. Some people call it the snow. So this Ormus is falling right out of the water. So we'll get, I'm going to check the pH. We don't want to go over 10.7, but we want the pH to rise up as high as we can get to 10.7 because every few points that it goes up in the pH scale, different elements are coming out. And the higher that we get up to 10.7, then we can get the gold, the Ormus gold, and that's one of the more valuable monatomic elements that comes out of this procedure. So we have this just standard Hanna pH meter here. Just going to rinse it off. And we'll test it. Swish it around, make sure we get an accurate reading. And it's reading fairly low, which makes me think that the meter might be off. And this has happened to me a few times when I was making Ormus. I'm going to let it sit in here for a second. But at least 2 times when I was making Ormus, the electronic pH meter started going out of whack. So I like to use litmus strips, which I had some at my house. I couldn't find them today, so I was just scrambling around trying to find a pH meter. So I'm going to let this sit in here a little bit longer because I think that that might be
It keeps going up.
affecting it, but I'm going to let it see if it will just continue to go up here. And take it out and run it through this water that should be at 7 pH. The spring water that we get, the spring water that comes out of the spring at Pine Grove, usually comes up around a pH of 7. See, that water is at around 7.4. So, yeah, something's funky. The Ormus tends to mess with electronic meters. So I like to use the, just like I said, I like to use the litmus. That's a pigment from a lichen, which is a fungus and algae. So I mean it's a natural source. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of this lye water. I might want to pH back up there.
Right.
Add 2 tablespoons more of that lye water. I mean, in the way that it looks right now, it looks like I should get some more precipitate out before I'm at the proper pH. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it again, and it definitely should have gone up. It should have noticeably gone up. So it's rising.